Alright guys, just as a heads up for this video, there is going to be a little bit of background noise because my neighbor has an air conditioner that can be really loud. So if you hear some humming noises, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that, but I hope you enjoy the video regardless. Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, directed by Molloy, and it once again stars Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley, who finds out an old friend of his has been taken hostage by someone in Los Angeles, and he has to go back to Beverly Hills once again to find out who took him, while he's also trying to fix his relationship with his daughter after all the mistakes he put her through in the past. I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of the Beverly Hills Cop films because technically I'm still new to them because I didn't watch any of the sequels until this year before getting to this film. I watched the first film for the first time a few years ago, and I rewatched it again just to recap on what happened on that film while also watching its sequels for the first time. I do like the first Beverly Hills Cop film. I do think it's a fun movie, and I do think Eddie Murphy is great in that film. But 2 and 3, no, I'm not a fan of either of those films, and that is really because both of those films felt like they were just copying off of the original film. And now we have this film being directed by Molloy, who hasn't made a whole lot. He's made a couple of short films as well as some for Nissan and Apple. Okay. And I didn't know the fourth film could work after the third film came out in the 90s, so now that I have seen this film, I can at least say it's okay. It's not great, but it's an okay film. This film is trying to be like the original films with the cinematography, the song choices, and some of the references to those films, as well as bringing back some actors from the original films like Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, and Paul Reiser. Eddie Murphy is still great as Axel Foley. He still feels like the character. He still has that energy that he's known for having in the original trilogy. There are a couple of good laughs, most of them coming from Eddie Murphy, of course, and a couple from Judge Reinhold. He does have a couple of funny moments, even though he's not in it a whole lot. I even like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the film as well. His character plays a police officer who does learn about Axel Foley and is still new to his shenanigans. And he starts to see and hear Axel say and do some things that he is not used to seeing in his normal job, which does lead to some pretty funny moments. There's definitely some fun action, like one action scene involving both Axel and Gordon-Levitt's character in a helicopter. That was a pretty fun scene, because Gordon-Levitt's character isn't very used to flying after a bad experience he had in the past, so he has to try to keep the helicopter steady while Axel is trying to tell him how to keep it steady, while he's also trying to get away from some bad guys. Then there's the relationship between Axel and his daughter, Jane, played by Taylor Page, and him trying to fix their relationship after the mistakes that he put her through. And of course, she really doesn't want anything to do with him because he put her through a lot of bad stuff growing up, which leads her to say some pretty bad stuff right in front of him. And what she says can be tough, but you can tell that Axel really is trying to be a good dad and try to rekindle their relationship and try to get her to forgive him and get her to let go of the past. Now, there are times where that subplot can work and can lead to some good moments with the two, but it also kind of makes it feel like a different movie, like the kind where it's feeling more serious and less than a comedy. Which brings me to one of my main issues with this film. The tone can feel a little messy at times, like there will be times when there will be a funny moment when Axel is just popping up jokes, but then there will be a serious moment later on. And sometimes they're in the same scene, and it can feel a little messy, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to be a comedy, and it's mostly trying to be a drama. And I think the tone could have been a lot better if they mixed both the comedy and the drama well. Because when you look at the original film, yes, that has both comedy and drama in there, but it also had a good mix of that while also getting the idea of what this movie is supposed to be. This film doesn't. It just just feels that messy. And since those films are an hour and 30 minutes each, this one is an hour and 50 minutes, and you do feel it dragging at times whenever it focuses on a subplot relating to Jane and another character, which I thought that subplot was very unnecessary, because that subplot with Jane having this relationship with this other character for me felt forced, and it didn't really need to be there. I think this movie would have been just fine without it. And there's sort of a callback in the finale to the original Beverly Hills Cop film that I thought felt very blatant and felt like it was just winking at the camera for the audience. Like the kind where the movie felt like it was saying, hey audience, remember this from the original film? Yeah, we're gonna put that in here for you just for some fun nostalgia. I get that's supposed to be like a fun nostalgic fan service thing for fans of the original film, but I don't think this movie needed that. I don't think it really needs any fan service. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is an okay return to the franchise, with the tone not being mixed well. It has some nostalgia that really didn't need to be there, especially in the third act, and it can be very slow at times, and it has a very pointless subplot, but it still has Eddie Murphy, it still has some good comedy with him, and there's some fun action sequences in the film, and it's still a fun time for longtime fans. I will say this, if you are a fan of the original Beverly Hills Cop film, then you might have a fun time watching this film, but if you're not and you're new to the franchise, then you might not love this one a whole lot. I'm gonna give Beverly Hills Cop Axel F a C+. So guys, if you have seen this film, what did you think about it? Did you think it's a return to form for the franchise after the third film, or do you think this might be as bad or maybe even worse than the third film? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.